I do want to get to something that your opponent, Luke Negron, has criticized you for this. So, Mr. Negron claims in a campaign video that you have not authorized or passed a single bill during your time in Congress. Are these claims true? And I want to hear your response to that.
Well, first of all, they're absolutely not true. He obviously doesn't know my record, and he doesn't understand, by the way, how the House of Representatives work. I mean, just this session of Congress, I passed the net neutrality bill out of the House of Representatives. Now, if Luke is saying the Senate didn't pass it and it didn't become law, he could talk about that. My robocall bill passed the House and the Senate and was signed by the president. So that's in law. I'm the founder co-founder and co-chair of the Autism Caucus. I have passed several autism reauthorization bills, which have passed the House and Senate and have been signed by the president. The other thing that he is not knowledgeable about is how the process works. A lot of times pieces of legislation that you introduce get folded into larger bills that become law. And so it doesn't go down as, you didn't pass the bill. The bigger bill that was the vehicle for passing the bill is that. You'll see that a lot when we do what's called an omnibus bill, where we take several bills and put them together and pass them, and then certain provisions of our bill get put in there. So, if he had a better understanding about how Congress worked, he would know how silly of a statement that is. There's been multiple pieces of legislation that I have been either the prime sponsor or co-sponsor of that have become law over the years. Many of them folded into larger bills, so it wouldn't be that obvious. But they have signing ceremonies. And, if Luke someday wants to come and visit me in Washington, D.C., up on the wall are several certificates from signing ceremonies where presidents signed my bills into law. So it's just not an accurate statement.
Do those pictures that you mentioned include President Trump as well, or maybe even President Bush?
Yeah, both. President Trump signed my robocall bill into law, and so that's one. And I'm sure during the Bush administration we did an autism reauthorization bill, which he no doubt would sign. Look, I'm agnostic when it comes to, if it's a good piece of legislation, I don't care if it's a Republican bill or a Democratic bill, and I don't care if the president's a Republican or a Democrat. I want them to sign the bill, and I want it to become law. So I don't not introduce bills when there's a Republican president. You want to get stuff done, right? And that's the important thing. And so there was I can't think of the name of the group, but there was a group that looked at how bipartisan you were in terms of, when you did legislation, did you try to get a Republican co-sponsor, or did you co-sponsor a Republican bill? And out of 435 people, I was ranked like the 35th most bipartisan member in the Congress. So, a lot of people say, well, Mike Doyle's a real partisan. It's not true. On my committee, especially the Energy and Commerce Committee, we have a long tradition of working bipartisanly. And just about every bill that I've introduced or passed out of my subcommittee have been bipartisan bills that were voted on by voice vote because we got agreement with the Republicans. We worked with them, and we got those bills out of committee. So, my nature is to work with the Republicans on anything we can, because ultimately that gives you a better chance of getting the bill through the Senate, especially if it's a Republican Senate and a Democratic House, and getting a president to sign it. So we're always trying to do things in a bipartisan way. The ranking member of my committee, Bob Latta from Ohio, is a good friend. We work well together. The ranking member of the full committee and I are good friends. We work together. And many of the members on my committee, the Republican members on my committee, I think would tell you that I'm a chairman that's been very fair to them, to make sure that their voices are heard, to give them a vote when they want to vote. I believe that's the best way to do it. We work for everybody after the election's over. So, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent. We want to work with you if we can get things done that benefit my congressional district and the country.
And for the record, does that include President Clinton and President Obama as well, compared with President Trump and President Bush, as we mentioned with signing your bills?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I've had the pleasure of working with 4 administrations, and some I like better than others. But you know, it doesn't stop the work. I mean, I'm a legislator, right? So, and I'm on a very select committee, and I now chair a very important subcommittee. My responsibility is to make sure that we're addressing those issues that are important to the country and help move us forward, and to try to do so in a bipartisan way, because that's the best way to get a bill passed in divided government. And you know, we've been in divided government, and we need to work together. So I have no problem working with the Republican Party, and I have no problem working with President Trump if we're working on something we both agree on. Now, if I don't agree with them, that's a different matter. But there's lots that, you know, COVID relief shouldn't be partisan. An infrastructure bill shouldn't be partisan. These are all things we can be doing that you know, there's no Republican bridges and Democratic roads. It's the infrastructure of our country. So there's a lot of issues where we work in a bipartisan way, and I think that's a good thing.